guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. Now, this is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject and then I move on. It's always quick, it's always snappy, you never know what you're going to get. Now, one of the most popular segments that we do on the 5x5s is a live performance and commentary. And a lot of the time, the first segment will be a live performance of me performing in the real world, and then there'll be a commentary track over the top in the second section, talking about what I do, the reason I did what I did, and I touch on various different subjects. And to be honest, I think that's really important. As a performer, as a magician, I think that you should always be reviewing your own material and always trying to improve, and one way to do that is to get video footage. I'm going to do something that I did a few weeks ago, and when I did it, I had a lot of people asking me to do it again, which is a live performance special. So in other words, 4 of the segments this week are going to be live performances. The first segment is a live performance. Second segment is a commentary track over that live performance. Then there's something else happening in the middle. Then there's a second live performance and a commentary track over that live performance as well. Like I said, you guys asked for it, so I'm delivering it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's get on with this week's 5x5.
Should we go one step further? Let's get rid of this key, because this is now basically. So we'll put it away, and I'll show you something with this key and this piece of string. The exciting thing is you're going to do this trick yourself.
All right.
Examine the string, make sure it's okay. Make sure it doesn't come apart. It's all right? And you've already checked the key out. You can look at it again if you want to. It's all good. So, I'm going to show you the trick, but in a minute you're going to do it yourself. The idea is really simple. The key goes on the string. It's got to go about the middle. Is that roughly the middle?
Yeah.
Watch this. If I do this and take the key and pull up, it goes right through the middle of the string, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Now, when I do this, people turn around to me and they say, Craig, because that's my name. They say, Craig, I think I know what's happening here. What's happening is you're not really putting it on the string. It looks like it's going on there, but really it's not. You can tell everyone that's really on there, isn't it? I mean, that's really...
Yeah.
You don't trust me. Give it a pull. Make sure it's ready. It is really on there, right?
That's actually, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Watch the key. Oh, no, you don't trust me either. This is how it works. It's all to do with hypnotism. You will give me all your money. Worth a try, maybe not, right? Watch the key. So the idea is really simple. You've got to pull vertical, not horizontal. You go straight up. Watch this. You pull straight up like this.
Okay. It
comes off. You tap the key to the string. Watch this. It goes right back on. What's exciting is in a second you're going to do this yourself, right? First of all, give it a pull, make sure people have realised it's on there. If you do not pull it on... What was your name again, sorry?
Katie.
I'm sorry, Katie, okay. If you don't pull it and people don't realise it's on there, there's no trick. Now, you go vertical like this. Never go horizontal. You go straight up. You go straight up, it comes off. You blow, it goes back on. Following?
Not even a little.
No. So this is the exciting part. Now you can do it yourself. Are you ready?
Yes.
Give it a pull. You got to promise me something here. If he gets this right, you're going to give him a big round of applause, okay? Because this is your first trick, okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
You're going to hold on to the end, and when I say go, you're going to pull straight up. If it comes off the string, everyone's going to go crazy. You ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Straight up in the air. Look at that! You know what's really weird though, Katie?
What?
Not that you pulled it off the string, but how it even went on the string when there's no hole in the key to begin with.
That is fantastic.
Let me just get rid of that. Hang on a minute. You can keep that as a suit. Oh, you don't want it. That's fine. No problem. So, this first performance that we're going to be looking at is the ring and string routine of the new Keymaster set that I put out through Penguin Magic. And it's one of my favourite routines on the project, and it's basically an extension of a ring and string routine using a key. But instead of a key to ring to impossible location, which is what you normally find at the end, you're using a key, and you've got a kicker ending and the hole disappearing off the key at the end. Now, I love ring and string, and I actually now exclusively perform key and string because I find it actually is a better ending. The psychology behind this, notice I hand the string out to be examined. The key's already been in play because this is done after the original Keymaster routine. And notice the first phase is done very, very quickly. And I know from doing this for years, you tend to find that some people are going to think, oh, it never really went on the string. Even if they don't vocalize that, they think it. Which is why, at the beginning of the second phase, I say, now, a lot of people think that it's not really on the string. And I make a big deal of it actually being on there, and I make a big deal of them examining that it's on there. Now, I want to notice that whenever I do a move and I'm stealing the key off the string, I always do it on a laugh. So you notice then there was that hypnotism thing where I was hypnotizing her, and that made her laugh. That's when I do the move. When it goes back on there, I don't need any misdirection because it's very, very visual. But you'll see the same thing again now. I'm going to use the same move again now. And notice, this time I'm not using a laugh, but I go, what's your name again? And I look her directly in the eye. I turn to face her. I say, what's your name again? She tells me, and that's the misdirection that I use for the move. And that's very important and something that really needs to be understood when you're performing close-up magic, which is you try whenever possible, if there's a move, to do it on the offbeat. It's the same with the pass with the deck of cards. It's the same with the coin vanish. Any sleight. The best time to do a sleight is when people aren't looking at you. So you engineer that offbeat. Now, the final phase here, obviously, he's just examined the keys on there, but when he pulls that off, there's not going to be a hole. So it's really important that you manage the audience correctly. And the direction of attention is really important. Notice that as soon as the key comes off, I immediately focus on another person. So in this case, I'm focusing on the lady in the glasses. I'm not putting any focus on the key at all. Very important I don't put any focus on the key, because obviously they can't examine the key at that point. So I make it about what they can examine, which is the string. And by doing that, it takes the focus off the key. So when I put focus back on the key again at the end of the routine, you're in a situation where you're kind of in a situation where they feel like they were looking at it from the very, very beginning. And understanding those 2 points that I've talked about here is very important. Understand about offbeats, and that the best time to do a sleight is when people aren't looking, and understand that if there's a thing that you don't want too much focus on, you shift the focus somewhere else. And this just comes with experience, and it comes with practice, which is why you want to do the routines that you actually perform in the real world as many times as possible. Because the more you do them, the more you'll understand about the offbeat, and the more you'll understand about the routining and the timing and the structure of a particular routine.
Okay, so I want to give you guys a tip now, and I haven't mentioned this before on the channel. And the reason I haven't mentioned it before on the channel is because, to be honest, I thought it was a piece of advice that everybody gets given very early on in their performing career. But I was chatting to two of the gold members in the Netrix. If you don't know what that is, I run a platform called the Netrix. I have certain members of that platform that I mentor personally. So I personally mentor them, and I have sessions with them every single week. And I was speaking to two gold members, and we were talking about stage shows and getting feedback on stage shows and improving on each performance. And I was talking about different ways that you can actually improve your performance off the back of one before. And I said something, and they were like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I've never heard of that before. And I just thought everybody was giving this advice. So I wanted to mention it here on this 5x5. And it's a great piece of advice. If you haven't heard this before, it's a great piece of advice. And it's something that you should routinely do if you are a stage performer or you're wanting to get better at performing on stage. And you know what? Here's the thing, and a friend of mine, actually a business mentor of mine, a guy called Brad Burton, he's the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. He actually turned around to me when he gave me a piece of advice, and I said, yeah, I've heard that advice before. And he said, well, do you do it? And I'm like, no. He said, well, if you know it, but you don't do it, do you really know it? And it's really true. You know, I'm going to say something to you now. I guarantee some of you guys are going to go, well, I've heard that before. But if you don't do it, do you really know it? Because this is an important piece of advice, and this is something that I did back in the day, but I still do it now. If you want to improve as a stage performer, one piece of advice I can give you is directly after the show, and this doesn't really work for close-up performers, but it does work for stage magicians, and I'll talk why in a second. But directly after the show, go to the toilet and lock yourself in a cubicle. Go to a toilet and lock yourself in the cubicle, because after you finish the show, the first thing that's going to happen is everybody's going to pile out the show, and a lot of people are going to go to the toilet, and the first thing they're going to talk about is they're going to talk about what they thought of the show, and this is going to be their raw, unfiltered opinions. Because the thing is, adults, and it's not the same with kid shows, because kids are completely honest. That's why kids magic is so hard. That's why performing for kids is so hard, because kids don't have a filter. If they like you, they let you know. If they hate you, they let you know. But adults are a little bit more worldly wise. They've been around the block a little bit, and they're more likely to hold their opinion in unless you're performing at a military base and they're all drunk, right? So adults might not give you the opinion, or, you know, if you've done a show and you go up afterwards and go, what did you think? They might be nice to you. They might not really like it. But you know what? If they're in the toilet and they're chatting to their mate, you're going to get your raw, unfiltered opinions right there. And there are routines that I have dropped from my stage show because I've done this. I've gone straight to the toilet before anyone else can get in there. I've locked myself in the cubicle and I've listened. And I've listened to people having a conversation, and they're having this conversation, and they're like, oh, what do you think of the magician? Yeah, it was really good, but that trick was shit. It was terrible, wasn't it? I could see exactly what was going on. And I'm there thinking, man, I thought that went really well. But I'm there for like 10 minutes, and I'm listening to people walk in, and they're all saying this trick isn't great. And I'm like, well, obviously, it's not working, right? And it allowed me, especially in the early days, to really kind of adapt what I did to make sure that it worked as well as it could work for the audience in which I was performing for. So it's really important that you constantly try and improve your show. And there's lots of different ways you can do that. And on the channel, I'm going to be doing videos on how you can constantly improve your show. One way is videoing it. You know, it's so easy to set up a video camera these days. It's so easy to set up your phone, just film the whole thing and watch it back afterwards. There's lots of different ways to do it. But I find that the best way is just to put yourself in that toilet there and just listen to what people say. Now, like I say, it doesn't really work for a close-up performer because, you know, you're not going to go up to a table. You're not going to go to the toilet in between each table, right? It doesn't kind of work. But if you're a stage performer, absolutely it works. But you know what? You're going to have a thick skin because you're going to hear stuff that you didn't want to hear about yourself. But by taking that feedback on and then using it to improve your show, you're going to make your show way better than it was if you just blindly went along thinking everything was great. So there you go. Big piece of advice. If you haven't heard it before,
I'm going to ask you, Alice, a question you've probably never been asked before.
Go on then. No, she's not there.
She's like, challenge accepted. Would you like to examine my fork?
Not really.
There you go. Have a look at it, check it out, make sure it's okay.
Yes.
Is it a real fork? It is a fork. Very good. So, what I want you to do is take this pen and put your initials right there on the bowl of the fork. Nice and big and bold.
Phone number on the back.
No, just a bank account number and sort code. But on that end, on the other side, yes, if you can put your initials again, that would be good. Right now? Oh, that's fun. Okay, you haven't got like 1 minute. Is that okay? Very quickly, you've got like 1 minute. Okay, so the reason I get to write her name on this is because that way it makes the fork unique. So in other words, even if there's a million forks in the world, it's the only one with your initials on both sides. So whether I hold it this way or this way, you can see it's your fork the whole time. Now, have you ever heard of a guy called Uri Geller? He's the guy that bends things to the power of his mind. He bends knives, forks, spoons, cutlery. He's a professional bender. That's what this one's doing. I'm not going to do this. You are. Do you have a good imagination? Great. Can you say bend? A little bit louder and slightly more magical. That was so magical. If I was a fork, I'd bend. That was so good. Just say bend. One more time. You did that so well. Look at that. 3, 2, 1. It's really weird, isn't it? Would you watch this if I do this, Alice? It bends again. I know, right? Double tap. And it really is better. Touch. Look, touch it. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Hold your hand out for me, Alice. Very. All right, okay. We'll finish this off with her, and then you can. Right. Can you, is that okay? Can you help me? Okay. I've unbent this. I'm going to put this in your hand. Squeeze tightly. Now, You can feel that, yeah? Don't lie to make me look good. Not that you would, I can tell. If I do this, be honest with me, can you feel it twisting? This is something you'll remember forever. Do you remember Alice put her initials on that side and her initials on the other side? Now the initials are on the same side. And the reason they are is because in your hand that fork twisted like a corkscrew. Put your hand with the head like there, like a corkscrew. Try and untwist that, sir. You can be the strongest person in the world, and there's absolutely no way you can twist a fork like that. This is crazy stuff. I'm going to go one step further because you missed the good bit. If I go up and down, say stop anytime you want.
Stop.
Watch the prongs of the fork. You had to have a heart attack. Every time something happens, she's like, one last time, check this out. 3, 2, 1. And it's bent again. It's bent and twisted in 7 different places. I'm going to give you this as a souvenir because Alice has gone. So, oh no, she's back. Alice. Oh no, she's gone again. So you get to keep that as a souvenir. There you go. Oh, thank you. I feel like I need to do one more trick just because you missed it.
Yes, we relate.
Okay, so I've had lots of people ask me to do a commentary track of another live performance of Liquid Metal. I did one about a month ago on a 5x5, and this is one from a totally different wedding. I perform Liquid Metal an awful lot, especially at weddings, because I find it's a really nice giveaway. And I do find that a lot of magicians really struggle with doing Liquid Metal because the move, and I've spoken to a lot of them, they say the move is too blatant. So I just want to go over the timing on this, because really, it's a little bit like what I was talking about with the ring and string routine earlier. It's all about understanding the on-beat and the off-beat. Yes, you are blatantly bending a fork in front of people, but you're doing it when they're not looking. So please notice, I'm looking around at everybody. I'm looking directly into the spectator's eyes. And in that moment, that's where I do the first time bend. But I'm holding the fork once it's done, so I don't reveal it until later on. Understanding time misdirection is very, very important. Understanding on-beat and off-beat is very, very important. Now, I want you to notice that, you know, you make that silly little gag where they touch the fork and you go, boo. But what that does is that gets everybody laughing, and in that action, that's when I'm doing the move. So the focus is put on the hand when the move is done, but when the move is actually taking place, the focus is put elsewhere. And that really is the entire definition of using the on-beat and the off-beat. The moves that you perform, whether it's a pass, whether it's a vanish, whatever it is, you do the move when people aren't looking. So notice I put all attention on her hand because I can, because there's no move taking place. Notice the move takes place down at my side when I look directly at the audience. And then you have the time misdirection of not revealing what the move has done until a few seconds afterwards. Now, this is the genius that's Morgan Striebler. But the most important thing is not to be scared of Liquid Metal. And I know, having spoken to lots of magicians, there's lots of magicians that are scared of Liquid Metal. But you shouldn't be. As long as you understand the offbeat and you understand the onbeat and you understand about audience management, that's all that's important. Understand audience management and understand that you just do the move when people aren't looking. It's a really simple concept. But it's a difficult thing to get your head around. You know, you're doing the move when people aren't looking. It's like I say, the same with the pass. You know, people try to do the perfect pass where you can burn your hands and you don't see anything. Well, the best, easiest way to do a pass is to just do the pass when people aren't looking. Spend as much time practicing misdirection and direction of attention as you do sleights, and you become a much better performer.
So there you go, guys. That's another 5x5 in the bag. Do me a favour, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a whole bunch more videos. There's going to be a ton of videos coming up on Magic TV over the course of the week. And also, please don't forget, if you haven't already done so, go to www.thenetrix.com. You can sign up for a month. You can see what all the fuss is about. We are rapidly growing. We are rapidly adding new content every single fortnight. So go check out www.thenetrix.com, and I will be back again very, very soon with another video. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.